Hello everybody, Nolan with Black Diamond Services. Sorry it's been a long time since we've done a clean video. I'm actually out here at an empty house with Adam. He's going to be doing all the cleaning. I just came out to do a little bit of video. So I'm going to hopefully have a little bit of each step, except for the CRB, because this is a Berber carpet. So we won't be needing to utilize that step on this specific job. So if you're wondering, that is why. So I'm going to go ahead and do a walkthrough so you guys can see what we're doing. Alright, so Adam's going to be doing this tile. Here's the white Berber carpet, like I was mentioning. So we got a living room slash dining room section here. We got some stairs. He's already up there. Another living space. Tile kitchen. Kind of wraps around. It goes down in the laundry area over here and a bathroom right there to the left. Go up the steps. You see we put corner guards here. This helps protect the banister. So basically, I'm going to go through, vacuum all the carpet. So he's in the master bedroom right now. We got what it looks like it used to be used as an office. 4 bedrooms total, carpet. Surprisingly for white Berber, it's not in that bad of shape. So we're gonna get this going. So we got a nice walk-in closet here. You can see he was doing some edging around the sides here. There is some loose debris and I think half of the rooms. And then also you can see it starts to build up here, some filtration soil. So what that basically means is your air ducts are circulating the air obviously around the house, and when you don't vacuum the edges, it builds up there and it's hard to get out sometimes. So remember to vacuum all your edges periodically, so that way it doesn't build up, because it will cause filtration damage. It can become pretty difficult to get out if it's, you know, real bad. So that's why Adam is going around the corners here and hitting those edges before he finishes pre-vacuuming everything. So that way we have a better shot at getting stuff out rather than just cleaning it and hoping for the best. So this room is one of the worst because of the desk that was sitting there. So it's very helpful to go through this step when you got a house set up like this. And the other bonus with this Berber carpet is most everything is sitting right at the surface, so you don't really have to make super slow passes unless there's obviously a buildup of something somewhere. So it just sits right on the top. So there are some perks to Berber carpet, and then there are some downsides to it. It has an affinity for oils, which means if you like to walk barefoot all the time, it is not going to be the best choice. So something to consider. But everything does sit right at the top, so a lot of times you can get it to clean up and vacuum up real easily. So if you have a lot of debris on the tile, it's always good to go ahead and run the vacuum over it before you do a professional cleaning. This is a step we actually do during our house cleaning process. For our house cleaners, we instruct them to pre-vacuum the floor, because getting the dry debris off first will make your regular house cleaning easier, so you're not wetting it down before you're picking it up. With a big professional machine, a lot of times you don't have to do that, just because it's easy to pick up with a huge machine like ours. But if you're just house cleaning, it's always wise to pre-vacuum the floor. That way, when you move to your next step, you're not creating any mud or causing, it to streak on the floor as easily. So, something to consider. So we got a little pantry over here, and then there's actually another spot over here that could be technically used as another pantry, which is kind of nice. So you can see he's edging in there, had the lance off of it, so that way pick up the corner debris, so it makes it a little easier. Another thing we do is we run a pre-filter that's got a 5-gallon paint strainer bag inside of it to catch debris and stuff as they come through here. This is significantly easier than having to clean out your machine every day. The waste basket in there, it saves time and will keep your machine running at optimal power, so therefore your suction's higher and all that stuff. And then as you can see, he's running 2 lines to it, so we're running 4 inches of hose, and then out the front we do 2-inch, and then that other side's capped off. So this helps increase vacuum strength, so that way if we're doing a longer run, we'll have higher output for doing the cleaning. So it's got its benefits. So because of that pre-filter, he doesn't have to come over here and take these covers off, because there's filters, one in each of these here, and he rarely ever has to take that basket out and clean it, because this pre-filter, which is called a Boss filter, catches pretty much everything. And then periodically inside of the waste tank here, which is this one, in the back side here, there's 3 small filters. Those would have to be cleaned probably daily if it weren't for that Boss filter. So it has its perks. You don't have to do as much maintenance because of that. So all you're doing is taking out that filter bag generally after each job, unless you're got a job that's literally barely dirty. Those come about every once in a while. If they vacuum quite a bit but they haven't had their carpets professionally cleaned in a long time, there may not be a lot of soil there, so it's very rare that happens. But this makes maintenance and maintaining of your machine a little easier, and you're not having to worry about things because of it. So I highly suggest getting one and setting it up. And if you have a machine that has 2 ports on it, you should be running 2 hoses out to your filter. So probably going to stretch this out a little bit so those hoses are straightened out, but I'm running basically 2 25-foot pieces here. So this keeps us relatively close to almost every single front entry door here to every house that we do, which means the hose run that he's doing, of just 2 inches isn't as much as it would be if he was just running straight from the van here. So, and then we also, in his van, are utilizing an electric sprayer too, which has its benefits. So one of them is you're not running a steam line in, so now he doesn't have to run his steam line in, pre-spray all the carpet, and then back the steam line out, so he can, if it was a regular carpet, run the CRB over it so that's not in the way. So there's benefits to having one of those too. So you're not having to pull the hose out before you start pre-spraying. So there's one thing to consider there, instead of having the normal inline sprayer, to save you some time. So one thing we got to do is, when we got carpet to tile to carpet, is Adam already cleaned the closet and put Scotch Guard down, because they opted to have that applied. So now we got this master bath floor that they wanted cleaned, and so he's working on that. So we kind of have to go back and forth a little bit with the cleaning steps. So it's good when you have jobs like this, but you do have to do a few adjustments. So most tile tools are 1.5 inch, so he had to change the coupler on here from a 2 inch to a 1.5 to fit to the spinner here. And then we got to up it to about 1,000 psi for doing the tile, whereas with Berber we're usually doing around 400 at most. So he just put down an alkaline pre-spray. This is going to dwell for a little bit. Thankfully this room is not that bad. I think this tile is newer compared to the downstairs stuff, so it's not that dirty. But the dwell time from this product does most of the work for you. If ever you have issues with it cleaning up, sometimes it just does need some agitation. With this product, it rarely does, but in the cases where it's not giving you the reaction you want, if you can't get yourself a CRB, I suggest getting a grout brush on a pole and manually scrubbing it at all. But if you have a CRB, you can run it over it, and it's made a huge difference in the jobs that we have some kind of problem with that is just not cleaning the way we expected it. We've had a handful of them where we've gone through the alkaline cleaner and no results, well, little to no results whatsoever, but as soon as we ran the CRB over it by reapplying the alkaline pre-spray, and it cleaned right up, no problems. So sometimes a little agitation is just required. It really just ultimately depends on how often it's been cleaned and maintained. That will determine whether that's going to be needed or not. So this one is most likely not going to need that compared to downstairs, which might. So a lot of times it's better to just go ahead and run the CRB over it, or any rough areas, your grout brush, if that's all you have, and it makes a difference. So as you can see, he brought his countertop tool here, and the reason for that is for around tight spots like in toilets and stuff like that, where your tile one's not going to fit. That way he can go ahead and clean the grout in between on both sides of the toilet and any other tight spaces that basically a foot around tile wand is not going to get into. So when you're doing tile, you work your way in. That way you're not getting the tile cleaner, the alkaline pre-spray on your hoses. And then generally what we'll do is we'll kind of work our way back out as well. So that way if we make any footprints, we pick it up before we're done. And a lot of times after we're finished with the cleaning process, if we're sealing the grout, you're going to dry mop the floor, and that gets footprints off as well. So you can see it actually is dirty. You can see that transition from clean to dirty over there. So this floor did really need it. It kind of didn't look like it did, but it's actually pretty dirty. So it just makes it easier for you to get around these corners here in this bathroom, because in our area, a lot of toilet slots in restroom areas are less than a foot in space on each side, so it's just really difficult to get your tile wand in between there. And so having a small tool like this is generally meant for cleaning, you know, the countertops if you got a tiled countertop space, but they're good for backup for tight spaces that you can't quite get to, because otherwise you got to try and figure out how to do it by hand. which will be more difficult because you won't be able to use the pressure from your tool. So like I was saying, basically we'll do a dry mop in these areas. Get as much of the moisture off the surface. That'll help speed up the drying before we apply a sealer to the floor, or to the grout, I should say in this case, because this is man-made tile. So the only area that the seal is going to penetrate is into the grout joints. So after the floor being wiped down, we use a high-end solvent sealer, and then he applied a little bit around the border here and then is spreading it and pushing it into the grout joints. So we do a little bit at a time. So being that the master bathroom's not that big, and then we got these transitions between carpet to tile to carpet again, that's why we have to go ahead and dry the grout out and then apply the sealer on it before we can move to the next portion of the carpet, so we don't have to worry about stepping on the carpet after everything's done as much. So it's just best to kind of knock it out while you're in the area, after you've dried it out, of course. That way you don't have to think about it later on when you're more focused on the carpets up here. So again, high-end solvent sealer, and the reason why is we have basically no issues with this stuff. So I used to have problems with a lot of water-based ones, even kind of cheaper solvent-based ones too, that would leave like a haze on the tile and it wasn't flashing off or anything like that. So you get a good one, you can just spread it across it and it's fine. But the lower grade ones, you would have to be 100% sure that you only got it in the grout joints, because we had so many issues in the past when I worked for somebody else with these low-end sealers that they'd buy, and so you'd have to sit there and go through every grout joint really slowly in order to apply it and not hopefully get any issues so long as it dried right. But with this solvent sealer that we use, which is Rob's solvent sealer from TMF, I have basically the only way you're going to have an issue is if you got a bunch of water on the floor and you're putting the solvent over it, because water and solvent doesn't mix. So that would be the only case scenario that I can think of that we'd have issues. Another good thing to have in your toolkit is one of these. So it's basically a pop-up door, or some people call it a safety door. It has a zipper on it, so that way you can zip it up if you need to. But basically what this is going to do is it's not only going to help keep exhaust out from your machine running out there, allows your hoses to run underneath, and keep the door open. So you don't have to worry about bugs getting in and stuff like that at your client's house. So it's just beneficial. Basically everybody that looks at it and I'm nearby always comments on it and says, man, that's awesome that you have that, just basically to, you know, kind of secure their house a little bit. So it's just an added touch that you could do to your business, and people will appreciate it because you're keeping the exhaust out, you're keeping bugs out, and it also, you know, not 100% obviously, but keeps the warm air inside a little better, as opposed to, you know, just the door being completely ajar. So there's just nice little benefits, nice little touch. People will appreciate it, and it takes hardly any extra effort to throw it in here. And then you don't have to worry about doors slamming open for if it's a windy day and things like that. So just something to consider. Another little tool to have is this little hose clamp here. So this is Velcro, and then it's got basically a rubber little piece that hooks around the banister, and see, he put a towel here. So that's to help protect the paint, because there are some houses where it's been unfortunately painted with very cheap paint and it will come off very easily. So adding a little extra layer of protection is always wise. So we don't know the full background of this house because they just purchased it. So we're kind of going through the normal motions, and then what he's going to be doing, any spots. We have some spotting agents that we bring in, and trying to adjust them to work those any stains that might be being difficult and won't come out with just regular pre-spray. So you can see where he's at right now. These doors are always shut because it's a closet. So there's a little line that goes across underneath these doors that starts the filtration again, just like around the walls like I was talking about earlier by the baseboard. It can happen at any entryway that you keep doors shut a lot at, because that's the only area where air can circulate through, so a lot of times it'll filter through the carpet. And so those areas need to be vacuumed every once in a while to lower that, and so it doesn't become problematic. So thankfully these ones aren't too bad, so he was able to get that right out. But something to think about if you like keeping your doors shut to your rooms the whole time. This little strip can get really dark from when your AC and heater's running and circulating air through the house. So you can see, like, they need to change the filter in here. It's completely coated. It's kind of hard to see it, but it's pretty bad. So when your AC is running and circulating air, all these door jambs, if they're closed constantly, like this one might get closed a lot because it's basically a French door, so a lot of times these are left closed and locked, and then so you'll have one side over here that'll look darker than the other that's open more frequently. So those are things that we watch out for and we address as we're cleaning, so we can try and eliminate those out of the carpet for people. But if they get really, really bad, it can become difficult to get them to come out, and it's even more so difficult to get it across the side of baseboards, because now we got to worry about putting too much moisture down to try and extract it out, because we don't want to saturate the sides here by your baseboards. So you got to be careful when you're dealing with those areas. So Berber carpet, one thing you also need to make sure you're doing after you've done your wet passes is that you're doing your overlapping dry passes. Berber is the one carpet that is more likely to brown out. If you have constant brownout issues with your carpet, if you're a cleaner, or you notice that is happening to your carpet after a cleaner has been there, two of the things it can be is lower grade chemistry, but the main one that's going to be is they didn't go over their previous wet passes very well, and that's what's going to cause it to brown out, because it's leftover moisture in the carpet and it starts wicking to the surface and it just kind of looks kind of brownish or sometimes yellowish. And so that's what you got to watch out for when you're dealing with your Berber carpets, is that you're doing some good solid dry passes afterwards. Doesn't matter how strong your machine is, we like to do it just as a personal preference. Even though we have very strong machines, it's just still good to go over the main areas and then dry pass over the top of them so we don't have issues. See, another thing with the corner guards, I put our stickers on them. I even put our stickers on the pre-sprayer here, the electric sprayer, because you're going to have this stuff sitting around as you're working, and if the homeowner's here, you want as many things showing your name on it. Not only does this keep track of it for you, that it makes it easier for you to see and stand out, even though these ones are orange. There are some that are white, but for just marketing purposes, you know, people will have you out and can forget about you, but if you constantly have your name in front of their faces, it becomes harder to forget about you. So I look at it as another way to market your name. You know, what if somebody comes over and is hanging out with them while you're cleaning in their house, and they see this? They're going to see your name everywhere, from the van to your shirt to your tools having the names on them, everything. Personally, I think it's a must. You want to brand and market yourself. That's why big companies, even though when you think of soda, one of the sodas you instantly think of is Pepsi or Coca-Cola, for example, because they've been around for so long, but they still market. They still put out content because they want to be in front of your face, so when you think of a soda, you think of them, right? So that's what I'm trying to do here. It doesn't have to be for everybody, but personally, I find it useful. I even have it on the top of his wand, on the face here. There's stickers on there. I'm sure you guys may have noticed that in my other videos. When I'm doing the cleaning, you can see it on the wand. And it's just personal branding. You want everybody to know that Black Diamond Services is a cleaning company. You know, it doesn't have cleaning in the name, but the reason why we did that is we wanted to have multiple services. So I didn't want to just call myself like Black Diamond Carpet Cleaning, because I don't want to be known for just strictly carpet cleaning and that's it, because we have a house cleaning department that does that, and janitorial, and of course we also clean tile, upholstery, hardwood, dryer vents, area rugs. So that's why it's services and not carpet cleaning or tile cleaning. So that does help with your search engine optimization if you have the word cleaning in it, or carpet cleaning, yes, but it's just a personal choice. Pepsi, that doesn't say soda in it, does it? You know, it doesn't say soft drink in the title, but you know them because they branded themselves. So that's kind of what I'm getting at here, is just know that having your image everywhere is going to put you in front of more faces and remind people of who you are and what it is that you do, therefore keeping you busier. Not everybody's preference, but this is just what I personally believe in through a marketing perspective. Whose van is going to stick out? One that has no name on it or just some basic letters, or somebody with a van that's got a wrap on it that has a specific image? You're going to stand out amongst all those basic white vans with just standard letter text. Those you see everywhere, and they start to be kind of just blend in with each other, whereas we get told all the time that, hey, I see you guys everywhere, and we only have 3 total vans if you include our house cleaning van. So we were told that even when it was just the one Chevy cargo van that we have wrapped for carpet cleaning, before we even had a house cleaning van dedicated to that service. It's because of the marketing and the branding. It sticks out to people. So that's why when I found out there was red wands, I got red, because red is one of the colors of our marketing material and our image. So it just makes sense to try and make things synergistic with each other. So the black shirts because of Black Diamond Services, the gray pants or shorts is because there's some gray in our image, and it just looks sharp when you have the colors coinciding with everything. So from start to finish, again, everything is synergistic with each other for a reason. I feel like it benefits us because people know it's us. So when we show up, there's no doubt in their mind, like, oh, that's Black Diamond Services, they're here. So instead of just showing up in a regular t-shirt or pants and whatnot, you got a professional image and you're ready to go.
The only other downside to Berber is once the wear is in the carpet, it's pretty noticeable, especially in white carpet like this. I mean, you could see where it's just dirty. It's coming up. A lot of time Berber just cleans up really well and turns out well, but considering this area coming out of the bathroom here is used a lot, it's naturally going to have those kind of 2 track marks of where the feet was coming from. So there's not much you can do about that. You just clean it and go over it a bunch until you're seeing no changes. And of course, for those of you who are wondering, we can kind of notice it just by looking at the top of the carpet wand. There's a little sight glass on it. For those that aren't familiar with the channel, it shows you what's coming through. So Adam knows when he needs to go back over something more, or if there's just no more dirt coming through, he can move along. So that's why a lot of times, you know, a couple passes over a certain spot is enough. But you've got to remember also, different machines yield different results quicker than others. Not all of them are the same strength, and that's okay. It just means you got to go over some areas a little bit more. So, like, see, he's doubling up over here just to be sure. And it made a little bit of a difference right there on that spot. So it never hurts to go over something again if needed. But a lot of times if you have a wand like this one where there's a sight glass on top, you can see what's coming through. And if you're getting nothing else to pop through as you're going through it, you know that you don't need to really necessarily go over it again. Especially if it's an area that's not really a traffic space. Because you don't want to keep putting a bunch of moisture in the carpet, because that just means you got to double up your dry passes. So for those of you who have watched all the way through to this point, probably thinking, you know, I'd prefer if there wasn't a lot of talking in the video, and we do have lots of videos like that. You can find them under the playlist that says ASMR on it. But for the others that are new to this channel, the purpose of this is because I like to share content where somebody can learn something, especially if you're a new cleaner. I've had like now 5 different people call or message us asking questions, you know, hey, I'm starting a new business, or hey, I got this job I haven't done before, what would you do? And that's kind of the point of this, is for somebody to learn. I know the vast majority is just looking to watch the videos because they want to see the cleaning happening, and I 100% understand that. That's not exactly what this channel is meant for completely, so I try and blend the content on occasion where there's going to be talking and then when there's not going to be talking. And for those that are like, where have you been for so long? Well, I'm in the middle of business development, so that means I have 2 vans, 2 guys out doing jobs, and I'm not necessarily on the van as often. I drove here separately for this main reason, so I can get some content for you guys. So that's why I'm building the business, and the things I have to do is spend time in the office doing that. We have a new office staff member, which I'm happy about. She's been very wonderful, made things a lot easier for myself and my wife, as we are also expecting twins. So that's why I have not been on here much, and that's why I haven't uploaded anything, is because I need to be near her as much as possible, and this is just barely a neighboring city away from our home. So I apologize that not a lot of content's going to be uploaded that often, But that's basically the reason why. Is the whole purpose of my company was to build it up and to be able to hire people and employ others, and hopefully provide a great job for people to come to and earn a living from. And so that way I can make sure that I have something set up for me to be around my kids a little more often. So that is ultimately, from day one, my biggest goal was to be able to have more time with my kids, and because of it I have. So that's why things are going the way they are. And I know most people don't care about that, or just want to see cleaning videos. And by all means, there's tons of channels out there that are just like that, where it's just cleaning videos and things like that. And most of you that are subscribed to this channel are probably subscribed to those already, and you may like my content for some specific reason, and I appreciate you following along. But for now, that's what this is going to be. It's just business growth and part of the deal. So know that I appreciate all of you, and that it means a lot to me that you've subscribed and watched the videos. But yes, I am in the middle of business development, which means I'm going to meetings as well and things like that, so I can acquire more clients and get this moving along to the next step, so we don't stay in the same position forever, which is not my intent. So thank you again for watching. I greatly appreciate all the support, all the comments, all the likes, and everything that has brought in new people, because YouTube suggests content based on what people are watching, how long they're watching it, if they like it, if they are commenting and being active because of the content, they enjoyed it. So thank you for those that are always commenting. I appreciate you. So just to recap also, because it's Berber carpet, we are using a little bit of a citrus cleaner, because I mentioned earlier in the video that Berber has an affinity for oils. So we always boost with a little bit of citrus, because that'll help break the oily bonds from this carpet type. So something to consider if you're a cleaner and you haven't really ran into Berber much. It's always good to have a little bit of citrus added in with your pre-spray, because it will make you cut through those oils faster. So once everything's treated here, so everything's done upstairs except for the kind of right at the top and the stairway down, and then got this living room / dining room and family room left of carpet, and then it's the rest of this tile out. So he didn't pre-spray all of the carpet because of how much got going on here. It was going to be dry before you even get to it. So in this case, you're wanting to just do a few sections at a time, so that the pre-spray does have some dwell time before you get to it, but also not so much to the point where it dries out, because you don't want your pre-spray to dry completely out before you get to it. Otherwise you're gonna have to re-wet it, which means you're using too much of your chemical up when you don't necessarily need to, especially when this is just kind of moderate soil. It's not really heavy at all. Even in the main traffic areas, it's not horrible, but you still want to make sure that it's over everything and has a little bit of dwell time. So especially Berber, when you're not using a CRB on here, for example, you want to follow the rule of TACT, which is an acronym for temperature, agitation, chemical, and time. When you're lacking one, you want to increase the other. So in this case, we're going to increase the time, since we're not going to be utilizing agitation on it because there's no nap to scrub through. So that's why the CRB is not being used on this job. If you missed that part when I mentioned it earlier, that is why. Now you can, if it's really bad, you can bring a buffer in here and you can bonnet the carpet, which would give it a little bit of agitation. But honestly, with our cleaning agents we use and the machine we have, I've never had that issue to where I need to bring a buffer in and post bonnet or even pre-agitate the top of the carpet with a buffer, a real heavy buffer. I've never had a case where I'm like dissatisfied with the outcome and feel like I could do more. So it's, again, a preference thing. If you get some nasty ones and you're coming to it, you can come prepared
and bring it and post bonnet the carpet, and it will make a difference. We do that sometimes in commercial settings because it's kind of similar situation. Commercial carpet is just flat, just kind of like Berber is. So you have that type of scenario where you can justify the extra step if you really need it. But like I said, between the chemistry that we use and the machine that we use, sometimes it just takes an extra pass over it and it's done and dealt with, which is far faster and easier than stopping, going, getting your buffer and running it across all the carpet. So it's a preference thing again. Some methods are great. All methods are really great, I should say, and have their purpose. And so you just got to determine, based on the job you have in front of you, what is going to be the best for your outcome. So little things to consider. But we've never had any issues or complaints or anything like that with just a solid pre-spray after vacuuming, of course, and then rinsing it out. And we do use a rinsing agent. We have two different tanks in this van and our other van, one for an alkaline rinse and one for an acid rinse. We switch between the two depending on the job at hand. So if it's just soil, we'll use the alkaline neutralizing rinse, which is around about an 8.5 pH. Helps soften the water that we're using, and also I notice it in our area. It honestly helps with the cleaning. I see a difference. And then going over to the acid one, this is an acid neutralizing rinsing agent. We use that for pet jobs. So if there's a lot of urine in the carpet, we'll switch to that, because urine dries to an alkaline salt, so you need to use an acid. So our pet treatment product is on the acid side, breaks down the urine, and then we use the acid rinsing agent to flush out the carpet and extract everything. So you just gotta, again, if you're gonna use rinsing agents, you gotta determine which is best suited for the carpet. Does soil outweigh the urine content that might be in the carpet? You know, if there was only a couple little pee stains in this carpet throughout, we would stick with the alkaline, because there's just so much soil in the carpet. You want to make sure you have all the cleaning power you can, because soils are mostly acidic in the United States. So that's why alkaline cleaners are what suspend the soils and get them out. And that's why we use the same thing, like I said, mentioned earlier on the tile, as an alkaline cleaner, because soils are acidic. So you use an alkaline to suspend those soils and then flush them out. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is probably information overload and a long video, but I wanted to get some content like this. Again, it's been a long time since I've talked my way through a job that we're addressing, and I think it's necessary every once in a while, because not only, like I said, I like to have this type of content, but it also documents our growth and how we've come along the way. So since I started this channel, you know, I had my single van. Now I'm at my second van. And hopefully this year, I'm praying that I'll be able to get the third van, and things will get a little bit easier for us as a business once we have a third person and a third van operating. So hopefully this year turns out great, and we can see that growth. And I'm hoping to have my second van for house cleaning too. That's another goal. I know I don't talk about that or really show it, because I'm usually in the office or I'm out doing jobs since I've been doing this channel, so I can't really be at the house cleaning jobs and do that too, but for video content. But yeah, we basically take care of pretty much almost everything in the home. So if you're in our area, the 209 area code, we most likely service your space and would love to earn your business. Definitely give us a call, 209-264-8898 if you're in our area. We are California based, Central California. We service mainly Stanislaus and San Joaquin counties and some surrounding areas, depending on what the job is. We can come and take care of it for you. Just give us a call or message us on Facebook, or look us up online at bdservices209.com. Thanks again, you guys. I appreciate your time. If you watched all this, that's amazing. I feel like this video is probably almost 50 minutes to an hour long, but thank you. I will hopefully see you guys in another video, but until then, you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope the rest of your year is amazing, and that the goals that you're looking to set out and get completed this year, that you crush them. Thank you guys. Take care.